La 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 la. Huh? Oh well. Oh, I was not listening. Hi, I'm Joey Arnold, and this is American English. And today we're gonna talk about how to listen better. So how do you listen better? And we're not talking about just about how to hear, but how to really listen, to really understand what you hear with your ears, how to process it, how to take care of it, so that you can do something with the information that you got, that you get, that you download, that you input into your hard drive, your brain. So here we go. So the first part is you gotta listen to each sound, each syllable, with the pronunciation bit, each part, bit by bit. So you really gotta slow it down, like slow motion, like I'm a robot going in slow motion. I am talking slow, and you really got to listen to it slower at first, and it may sound very boring, very boring, man, but it's very necessary to get more familiar with the sound. So please try your best to start out slow. This is very important no matter what you are learning. If you're learning how to play basketball, you start to go slow with the fundamentals of basketball or the other sports, or in learning how to dance. If you want to learn how to dance, you really have to start out slow before you can just move around and be more fluent in dancing or in anything. You got to start out slow and start out with the fundamentals, the basics. And you really got to take time, review it, go back to it, find connections to remember it, and listen to it over and over again. And and as you listen to each sound, you really got to copy what they're saying. You really got to imitate each sound, each word, everything they're saying. You got to try your best to remember and to try to say it like they're saying it. You got to try to become like them. So you see somebody like a famous actor like Will Smith, and Will Smith is one of my favorite actors. Will Smith, and so he's an African American, and he's black, and he's very entertaining, enthusiastic, exciting, and this is Will Smith right there. He kind of looks like that, but different. And like in Independence Day, he comes out of the spaceship and he looks at the alien from another planet, and he does something like hit the alien, kick the alien, beat up the alien, and he says to the alien, "Welcome to Earth," something like that, like "Welcome to Earth." And so it's like, I'm an actor. At least I think I'm an actor. I like to act. I like to tell stories, and when I tell stories, I try to think about the stories that I've heard before, basically. When you tell a story and when you make up a new story, you're basically taking parts of other stories and you want to relive the story, and when you relive a story, you're like imitating what you've seen before, but maybe in a different way. And it's really exciting when you imitate people, when you imitate things, and it really helps you remember. And when you remember it, then you can listen to it better, because listening is connected to remembering it. You can't listen to something that you don't understand, and you can't understand something if you don't remember it. So you really gotta imitate each sound. You gotta break it down, each part. You have to really think about each part when you're learning something, and you have to go at that speed, at that pace, and don't try to rush it. Don't try to go too fast. And I'm sorry if you're in a hurry and you really want to learn a lot faster. Please slow down and take your time. They say that Rome wasn't built in a day, and your brain wasn't born in a day either. Your brain was made in about 9 months in your mother's womb. Your mother's womb, and you come out as a little baby, and then you still got to learn. And then when people try to tell you things, then you can look at them and say, "Oh, don't confuse the baby. I'm still the baby." And it's like, "Oh no, you're confusing your baby." And when people ask you questions, you can say things like, "How am I supposed to know? I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby, but you gotta love me." And not the mama. That's from a TV show, but called Dinosaurs, and I really liked it. It was a comedy sitcom about dinosaurs, and the baby dinosaur would always say to the father, like, "Not the mother." Like, he's not the mother, he's the father. "Not the mama, not the mama." The baby would hit the father with a frying pan. I remember it because it's funny. And when you remember something that's funny, then you can listen to it better and you can hear it at a faster speed because you like it. Especially like when you have something like rap music, you can remember it because you like it. Like Will Smith, you can remember Will Smith. He does some rap. Like he likes to sing something like from his TV show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. "I started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared and said, 'You're moving with your auntie to a place called Bel-Air.'" And so it's like he starts to talk about his life. And he talks faster, but it's okay because people understand what he's saying. The other people in the neighborhood, in the ghetto, like they understand what he's saying because they are familiar with what he's saying. So they can understand it at a faster speed. They can listen so much faster because they can relate so much more to him. And so you really got to get to know the people so much, as much as possible, so that you can listen to them better. So you want to listen to each sound, and you want to imitate each sound. You want to break it down, each part, and you want to get more familiar with each sound. You want to really hear it as much as possible, and if you can, try to get some headphones, some earphones, and listen to it loud enough. Maybe not too loud because you don't want to lose your hearing. You don't want to go deaf. But you got to make sure that its sound is loud enough. You have to make sure that it's loud enough, that the volume is high enough so that you really hear each sound and each part. It's very important. And so get familiar with each sound and with each word, the accents, the structures of how they talk, the pattern, like the sentence structure with the grammar, and the pattern of like how fast they talk and how they talk, those kinds of things. Try to get familiar with those things. So number 1, listen to each sound. Number 2, imitate each sound. Number 3, get familiar with each sound. Number four, prepare your brain and your heart and your soul. Because you really got to predict what the people are going to say. It's very important. Like, if I'm just like a homie, like a gangster in America, and I'm hanging out with Will Smith, an African American man, I can understand him because I know him. I live in the same neighborhood as him. I have the same problems as him, and I know when he's having a good day and when he's having a bad day, and it's like a dance. It's like music, and I start to get inside his head and he starts to get inside my head, and we can understand each other so much more because it becomes like some kind of dance. Like in some countries, like you go out in the street and the traffic, and it's like a dance, and you drive and other person drives and you go around, and it's okay because we understand each other, and we do it more and more, and the more you do it, the faster you can do it. So the more you do it, and the more you get into their head and into the situations that other people are in, then you can understand them and listen to them so much faster. But it just takes a lot of time, and you really have to use your brain to really understand, like, what are they going to say, or what could they say, and you have to think about, like, how are they going to say it. But more importantly, you really got to think about, like, why are they going to say it, or what are they going to say. So you try to get into the brain, and when you begin to predict them, then it becomes easier. And you have to have your heart to really care about it, because you need to invest in the listening. You really need to try to listen, and your heart will help you. And then you really have to continue to try with your soul, and it's okay if you make a mistake, but you really have to keep on trying. And so you really got to get to know the speaker as much as you can, and it just takes a lot of time. And at first you start out really slow, like a robot, but it's okay, because like a robot might become like a real boy. Like Pinocchio is like this wooden toy, but he wished upon a star and he became a boy, and he's like, I'm alive, I'm a real boy now. And you start out as like limited and not able to do a lot of things, but eventually you improve and you grow up and you become a real boy, like Pinocchio, or like the robot in Bicentennial Man, starring Robin Williams. He is a robot, but then eventually he starts to replace each part of his body, and he becomes a man over time, and he lives for 200 years in the story, in the film, and he really wanted to become like a boy, like Pinocchio wanted, and he did, and it was really, really good, but it took him like 200 years. But don't worry, it's not going to take you 200 years. So thank you for watching.